Welcome to Vinyasa in my backyard. So we have the wonderful sounds of the wind chimes and the birdies out here for our music. I do have a nice Vinyasa class for us, one of my favorite flows actually. And I am having some tendonitis in my elbow and the top of one of my feet. So I will not be taking any Vinyasa tonight, but I will be inviting you through it, or you can just join me in downward facing dog. So completely up to you. And I just invite you to please be sure to honor yourself. If you get tired, take a break, take a child's pose, take a downward dog, do whatever feels good for you.
So now gather anything you need, and I'll see you on the mat.
So let's start by just coming to our usual comfortable seated pose. Stacking your shoulders over your hips, maybe letting those shoulders relax away from the ears for the first time today. And just settling here into your body on the mat, maybe closing your eyes or lowering your gaze. And beginning to take those slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Just bringing your focus to wherever you can most sense the breath. So maybe that's the expansion and contraction of your belly. Or maybe it's the gentle rise and fall of your shoulders. The feeling of the air coming in and out through your nose. And as you continue to drop into your body and into this moment, just imagine any weight or concern or worry that you may have been carrying with you before you came to class today. Just allow that to melt. Imagine it melting like wax, flowing down off your shoulders and your elbows. And as it does so, taking any of the tension of your day with it. And beginning to introduce a little bit of movement with the breath. Just inhale the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale to let them slide down the back. Moving like this with your own breath, inhaling shoulders up, exhaling shoulders down. And continuing to move in this way. Perhaps it feels good for you to go one shoulder at a time. Moving into all the corners of your body here. And then when you're ready, allow that to find stillness. And then from here, as we're exhaling, we'll just drop one ear over to one shoulder. And just imagine that opposite shoulder becoming really heavy. The elbow stretching down towards the floor. As you inhale into the side of the neck, imagining it expand. And then exhale to let it release. Inhaling the head back to center. We'll exhale as we drop the ear towards the other shoulder. Breathing into the side of the neck. Imagining it expanding and the stretch deepening. And then contracting on the exhale. Inhaling the head back to center. This time we'll just look out over one shoulder. Inhale back to center and look out over the other shoulder. Inhale back to center and then bringing the hands to heart center. We'll exhale as we just lower the chin to the chest, stretching through the back of the neck. Sitting nice and tall here. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, it's a good place to do it. If you have something in mind, that's fine. If not, maybe just commit to honoring yourself through this practice. And then inhaling the head back up, we'll allow the fingertips to come down to the mat. We're going to inhale up tall through that left arm, grounding down through the left hip as we reach up and over. Staying on the fingertips. And then exhale to release. Coming to the other side now. Inhaling that right arm up, grounding down through the right hip, and exhaling up and over. Exhaling to bring that hand down. We'll turn both palms upwards as we scoop the air up. And then exhale as we turn to one side, bringing the fingertips around behind. You might release slightly as you inhale and then exhale, turning into the twist. Maybe repeating that, slightly releasing, and then exhaling to lengthen and turn back into the twist. Inhaling the arms back up overhead. We'll exhale as we drop to the other side. Inhale to release slightly. Exhale to deepen. Inhale to release. And exhale to deepen. And then inhaling arms back up overhead. We'll exhale to bring the hands down to heart center. We're going to shift the legs out to the side and come into a child's pose. So allowing those big toes to touch, we'll bring the knees out to the edges of the mat. Hands come out, a couple of handprints. We'll sink the hips back, allowing your head to come to the mat here, maybe rolling gently from side to side. Sinking the hips back. And then pressing into both palms. We'll pull the belly button in towards the spine. We're going to roll the toes under in the back and shift up to our downward facing dog. So knees are nice and bent here. You might like to pedal the heels out. We're going to come through a little mini flow here. So inhaling up to the toes. We'll exhale as we bend the knees, rotating the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Inhaling here and then exhaling. We'll allow the heels to sink back down towards the mat. Inhaling forward, coming back to all fours. We'll let the belly drop. Exhaling as we push the mat away, pulling the belly button up towards the spine. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling to cow. And exhale back to child's pose. Inhaling back up, we'll exhale into our down dog. Once again, pedaling out through the feet. Inhaling up to the toes, bending the knees as we exhale. Inhaling, pressing the mat away. Exhaling, heels come down. Inhaling forward, allowing the belly to drop. Exhaling to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale to come up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bending the knees. Belly comes to the knees. Inhaling, pressing away from the mat. Exhaling, the heels down. Inhaling to cat on all fours. Sorry, that was cow. This is cat. Now inhaling to cow. And then to cat. And then to cow. And then back to child's pose. Taking a moment here. And then inhaling to rise up. We'll roll the toes under, shifting back into downward facing dog. This time shifting the gaze forward and allowing the feet to walk up to the top of the mat. Coming into a forward fold. Bending the knees slightly will allow the fingertips to walk from one side to the other. Inviting ourselves onto the balls of the feet here, just a little, feeling into all four corners of the feet. Toes are nice and wide. Maybe you find a rag doll here. And then if you are moving from side to side, bringing that to stillness, bending the knees, we'll bring the hands over the bent knees and allow ourselves to come up to stand with a flat back. Hands meet overhead and come down to heart center. Readjusting here, setting up for our sun salutation. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale as we come to forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to surrender and bow. Planting both hands, stepping back with the right foot. Exhale, look forward. Stepping back to plank. Inhaling here. Exhaling to your chaturanga if you'd like to take that vinyasa. Inhaling to baby cobra. Exhale to release. And then coming to downward dog. Shifting the gaze forward, walking to the top of the mat. Exhale to release into the fold. And inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Exhaling down through heart center, coming down all the way this time. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to release. Stepping back with the left leg. Exhale, look forward. Planting the hands, coming back to plank. Inhaling here, hugging the elbows into the body, coming down to your chaturanga. Inhaling up to baby cobra. Exhale to release. And then pressing back to downward facing dog. Shifting the gaze forward. Slowly, mindfully walking the feet to the top of the mat. Coming into your forward fold. And then when you're ready, inhaling up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Hands come to heart center. Take a moment to readjust. And we'll go into our next sun salutation. Inhaling the arms up overhead. We'll exhale as we shift the hips back, coming into chair pose. Gaze continues to be forward, chest is open. Inhaling here and exhaling as we press the arms back, engaging the triceps like we're pressing the air away. Inhale the arms forward. Exhale back. Making sure you can see your toes. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Twice more here. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Hands come to heart center. Exhale to bend. Inhaling up halfway, making that spine nice and long. Exhale to release. Stepping back with the right foot here. Exhale to look forward, coming into our high lunge, left leg forward. Pulling that belly button in towards the spine. We'll allow ourselves to rise up into a high lunge here. Nice big inhale. And as we're exhale, lowering forward, arms come out behind. Gaze is just a couple of inches in front of that big front toe. And then sweeping the arm up overhead, the heel is going to come to the floor as we come into our warrior two. Dropping that back hand, inhaling the front arm up, reaching up long out of the pelvis. Exhaling to allow that elbow to find the knee. Coming into a modified triangle or side angle pose. Allowing that top arm to windmill around. We'll come back to frame that left foot. Not good with the body parts today, sorry. Hands come to the floor. Coming back to our plank pose, coming through your vinyasa if you like. And if this time you're ready to introduce an up dog, adding that at the end before you shift back into downward facing dog. We'll inhale the left leg up, bringing the left leg forward, back to our left lunge. Stepping to the front. Exhale. And then inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Exhale to heart center. Inhaling here. And then sweeping the arms up, sitting back into our chair pose. Pressing the air away. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Pressing the air away. Remember, you can always just bring the arms out in front if that works better for you. Always options. Inhaling overhead. Pressing the air away. Inhaling overhead. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling here and exhale to fold. Inhaling up halfway. No pain. Exhale to release. This time, stepping back with the left leg, sinking down into that right lunge. Planting that back foot, pulling that belly button in, rising up into our high lunge. Inhaling here, exhaling to come forward, hands reach out behind. And then windmilling that arm up overhead, heel comes to the mat, opening up, warrior two. Drop the back hand, inhaling up to the front arm, nice and strong. Exhale into side angle. Deepening into the front knee. And then windmilling that hand around, coming back to frame that right foot this time. Planting both hands, stepping back for plank, coming through your vinyasa. If you're staying with me in plank, just pressing away from the mat. And then when you're ready, shifting the hips back. Everyone meets in downward facing dog. Inhaling the right leg up. Exhale the right leg forward, coming into a right lunge. And then back comes to front. Exhale to release. And inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. Taking a moment here to readjust clothing or take a little wiggle. And then we'll come into our first series. So coming back to the top of your mat, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale to release. Planting both hands, stepping back to downward dog. We're going to inhale, let's start with the left foot. We're going to inhale the left foot up. Exhaling to bring that knee to the nose. Pressing away from the mat. Pulling the knee in here. And then stepping through. Lowering the hips into this lunge on the left side. And then pulling those thighs in, belly button comes in, once again rising up into our high lunge here. Inhaling and then exhaling, extending the arms out behind. And then bringing the hands to heart center, pulling back through that left hip, pushing forward through the right. We'll slowly come up onto that left foot. Arms can come out to the side. Right hip moving down towards the floor. Hands can stay at heart center if you prefer. Or if you like to sweep those arms around overhead, coming into a warrior three. Maybe you keep the toe on the floor today. That's okay too. And then bringing that foot down, coming back into a chair pose here. And I'll turn so you can see. From our chair pose, we're going to bring our weight into the left foot as we bring the right knee over the left, really hugging those thighs in together. Maybe the right toe is touching the floor. Maybe the right toe is hooked behind the left leg. Either way is fine. Inhaling the arms open wide. We'll cross the left arm over the right, bringing those hands into eagle arms. Taking 2 or 3 breaths here. And then allowing those arms to unwind. We'll step the feet out to the outer edges of the mat, bringing the hands to the hip crease, lowering forward. We'll allow the fingers to come underneath the toes, keeping the knees soft here as we pull up slightly through the upper back. Gorilla pose. And then allowing that to release. Bring your hands back out in front, stepping back with both feet, coming into plank pose, coming through your vinyasa. Or staying here with me in plank for 3, 2, 1. And everyone meets in downward facing dog. Bringing the big toes together, inhaling up through the right foot this time. Exhaling to bring the right knee forward. Hugging that in for 2, 3 breaths. Stepping through on the right side. Sinking the right hips down. And then pulling in that belly button, rising up, coming into our high lunge. Inhaling, exhaling to lower forward, arms reach back. Holding it here for 2 breaths. Hands come back to heart center. Shifting the weight into that right foot, lifting the left foot from the floor. opening the arms for airplane pose. Shifting into warrior 3 if you like. Remembering to move that left hip down towards the floor. And then when you're ready, bringing the hands to heart center, lowering the left foot, coming into our chair pose. This time, taking the weight into the right foot, keeping the knees bent, bringing the left knee over the right knee. Opening the arms up wide. Right elbow comes over left elbow. Eagle pose. Remembering it's okay to be wobbly. Just come back. And then when you're ready, opening wide, stepping out to the outside edges of your mat. We'll bring the hands to heart center here. If you need to turn your feet out slightly, feel free to do that. We're coming into Garland Pose or squat. So when you're ready, sinking your hips down, bringing the elbows to the insides of the knees, trying to press the knees into the elbows and the elbows into the knees. And if you want to do a little play and crow here today, you can do that. You can stay here in your squat pose if you like. Or if you want to, you can bring your hands down to the mat in front of you. And first, just play by just leaning forward, pressing the weight into the hands, pressing away from the mat. And maybe that's all you do today. If you want to play a little more, perhaps you experiment with making this little shelf out of the back of your arms, maybe bringing your knees as close to your armpits as you can and rolling forward onto the hands, adding some weight to the hands here. Maybe you lift a foot or two. Maybe you don't. Up to you. And when you've had enough of that, coming back into your Garland pose, or maybe joining us here. We'll reach the hands out forward, coming close to the top of the mat with the hands as we shift the legs back, coming back to plank and shifting through your vinyasa, or maybe just staying here with me for 3, 2, 1, and then meeting in downward facing dog, allowing the knees to come out wide to the edges of the mat, shifting the hips back into child's pose. Resting and reflecting here, returning to the breath if you've lost the breath. Inhaling up, out from our child's pose, rolling the toes under. We'll shift the hips back up towards the ceiling for downward dog. Bringing the big toes together. We'll inhale up through that left foot. Exhale to bring the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, shifting the left leg back up. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, right knee to center, holding it here for a moment, and then stepping through on the left side, sinking the hips down, looking forward, and then planting the right hand on the floor here. We'll inhale the left arm up, coming into a twist. exhaling that left hand down, dropping the back knee. We'll shift the hips back, pulling the toes up towards the face, coming into a modified pyramid or half split here. Rolling forward through that left foot, planting both hands here. We'll come up on that back foot, allowing that back heel to pivot. We're going to take the left hand to the top of the left foot, straightening that left leg as we slowly open up into a triangle on this side. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling or straight ahead. Peeling the shoulder back toward that imaginary wall. And then when you're ready, allowing that top hand to slowly shift back up overhead, coming back towards that left foot. We're going to walk the fingertips around in front as that left foot comes to parallel, coming into a standing wide leg forward fold. Allowing the head to release towards the floor. Nice and relaxed here. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to release back into this fold. Walking the hands back around to frame that left foot, coming back into a left low lunge. And then planting the hands, coming back to plank, coming through your vinyasa. And then meeting together in downward facing dog. Big toes come to touch, inhaling up through the right leg. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhaling, shooting that leg back up. Exhaling, right knee, left elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, right knee comes to center, holding here. And then stepping through, right lunge. Exhale to look forward. Planting the left hand on the mat. Inhaling to open up through the right arm. Continuing to spark back through that left heel. And then exhaling that right arm down, bringing the left knee to the mat as we shift the hips back, pulling the right toes towards the face. Inhaling to roll forward back on that right foot, coming up onto the toes on the left heel pivots, finds the mat. Right hand finds right ankle as we open up triangle. And then allowing that left hand to come back down to the mat, taking the fingertips around towards the front, coming feet parallel, wide leg forward fold. Inhaling up halfway, really feeling that upper body extending long out of the pelvis. Exhale, releasing back into the fold. And then walking the fingertips back over towards the right, turning that right foot back out, coming back into our right low lunge, planting the hands, stepping back to plank, and coming through your vinyasa. We're pressing up out of your plank for 3, 2, 1, and shifting back to down dog. Taking some deep breaths here. Focusing on extending up out of the armpits. Bringing the focus back to that Ujjayi breath. Imagining the weight of the body moving back towards the heels. And then bringing the big toes together. We're going to inhale that left foot up. Foot is flexed, just like we're sliding that foot up a wall. And then at the top, opening that up, coming into three-legged dog, stacking the hips here, squaring the shoulders back towards the mat. Inhaling that leg out long as you square the pelvis down towards the mat. And exhaling, we're going to bring that knee forward, bringing the knee close to the back of the left wrist as we set up here for pigeon. Back leg comes out long here. Chest is open wide. And then you can choose to stay here, or if you like, you can lower forward, finding some place to rest your head, either on your stacked hands or on the floor. Continuing to square those hips, pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Breathing into that left hip, allowing it to soften. Pressing into the top of the big toe mound in the back. And then when you're ready to come out, inhaling back up to fingertips. Rolling the back toes under, planting both hands. We'll shift the hips backward, coming back to down dog, maybe pedaling out through the feet again here. Feeling the difference between the two sides. Remembering that if at any time pigeon is too intense for you, you can always take a reclined pigeon on your back if that feels better. So once again, bringing those big toes to touch. This time, we're going to inhale that right leg up, foot is flexed, and then coming to the top, stacking the hips, squaring the shoulders to the mat. And leg out long, squaring the pelvis, exhaling, bringing that right knee in behind the right ankle. Scooting that left leg back this time. You're often here to bring that shin parallel to the top of the mat, and that is an excellent goal. But if you're not there today, that's also okay. Keeping that right foot wherever it's comfortable for your knee and your anatomy. And then staying here or exhaling forward, squaring the hips, supporting the head, settling back into the breath. Making space for this sensation. And also noticing all the things around this sensation. The feeling of your breath. The sounds around you. feeling of other parts of the body you may not be noticing right now, ones that are not asking for your attention. Breathing into the head, allowing it to soften. Allowing the shoulders and the neck to stay relaxed. And then bringing yourself back up to fingertips on an inhale. Planting the hands, rolling the toes under in the back, shifting back to downward dog, pedaling out. And then inhaling forward to plank. Maybe coming through one last Vinyasa here. And if you come through downward facing dog, we'll allow the knees to find the mat here, shifting forward over the hands as we slowly lower ourselves to the floor. Taking one hand stacked over the other right here, just taking a moment to relax and feel the benefits of our practice. Perhaps allowing the head to go back and forth on the hands here, massaging the forehead just slightly. And then bringing that to stillness, we'll bring the forehead all the way down to the floor. Hands are going to come out long along your slides, palms facing up towards the ceiling. On an inhale, we're going to lift the feet slightly, bringing the ankles close to each other, pressing the pelvis into the floor, and exhale to release. On your next inhale, lifting the top of the body this time, shifting the fingertips down towards the heels, using the back muscles to lift the front body from the floor. Exhale to release. On our next inhale, we'll combine those two moves. So inhaling now to lift the heels and the upper body at the same time. Gaze is coming forward just a few inches. Neck is a nice gentle extension of the spine. And allow yourself to release. Coming into this pose one more time. This time, if you like to, you can interlace the fingers behind the lower back, pressing down and away as we inhale up from the floor. Being gentle with the neck, moving the thighs towards each other, and exhale to release. We'll bring the hands next to the chest here, inhaling as we press away from the floor, pressing back towards the heels, shifting the feet out of the way, setting ourselves up for Dandasana. Just finding your Dandasana here. Maybe your palms reach the floor, maybe it's your fingertips or your fists. Bringing the toes back towards the face. You can have little micro bend in the knees, but the legs are very active here. And then if you like, you can inhale the arms up overhead and exhale to lower the center of the chest forward. And you come as far as you can, allowing the arms to just gently fall. Once again, neck is gentle extension of the spine. And maybe you release a little as you inhale here and exhale as you deepen. Keeping the chest nice and open, shoulders back. And inhale to allow that to release all the way. We'll bring the right leg in towards the chest here, hugging that right leg in. You can leave it here if you like. You can cross it over. Up to you. Bringing that left arm around the right knee. Exhaling will allow those right fingers to swim around behind as we sit up nice and tall. Left foot still pulling those toes back towards the face. And allow that to release. We'll take that leg and just give it a little love. Rock it like a baby. And then allow the leg to extend out long as we bring the left leg in towards the body. Keeping it here or stepping it over if you like. Right arm comes around the left knee. Exhale as we swim the fingers around behind. Right toes moving back towards the face. Exhale to release. Give that left leg some love. And then allow the leg to extend out long. We'll shift over onto the back here. Bringing the knees into the chest. Maybe rolling out slightly through that lower back. And we'll bring the knees firmly into the palms of the hands here. And then just begin a little bit of some circles with the knees here. Finding your breath in this circle. Maybe exhaling as the knees come in. Inhaling as the knees move out. When you're ready, bringing this in the opposite direction. Bringing that to stillness. And now bringing the knees apart from each other in opposite directions. Continuing to find your breath. Reversing the direction of this movement when you're ready. Now bringing that to stillness. We'll allow both feet to find the mat. I'm going to take the right leg over the left knee, allowing those knees to be stacked on top of each other here as we open the arms out wide. Palms are facing up to bring the shoulders onto the back. Inhaling here, and as we exhale, allowing that right knee to drag the left leg over gently. Remembering if this is too intense, you can always unbind the legs. And then allowing the gaze to fall over the left shoulder. Inhaling the knees back up. Unbinding here. And then bringing the left knee over the right knee. And allowing that knee to take the right knee down to the floor with it. Shifting the gaze over the right shoulder. Inhaling the knees back overhead, unbinding, bringing the knees back into the chest. If it feels good, allowing the nose to rise up towards the knees, and then release. Reaching the hands through the knees, grabbing the big toes or the outsides of the feet here, allowing the feet to come up towards the ceiling, sky. Maybe working those elbows into the creases of the knees here, finding a little movement and happy baby. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, extending the legs out long on the mat, snuggling the shoulder blades up underneath the back, and allowing the body to relax completely. Feet relax away from each other. Lower back takes on that gentle, relaxed curve. Shoulders and back of the head sink into the mat. And you arrive back in your breath. Focusing your attention on the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps saying to yourself, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Repeating this gentle mantra to yourself. If you find that your mind has wandered into thoughts, plans, or daydreams, that's okay. Just bring it back gently to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Allowing every in-breath to fill you with peace, and every out-breath to flush out tension. Allowing yourself to feel ever more peaceful, ever more relaxed. And then when you're ready, inhale your arms up overhead. Maybe stretching out through your fingers and toes, taking the deepest breath you've taken all day. Rolling yourself to one side. Maybe relaxing your head on your arm for a moment. And And then when you're ready, bringing yourself back up to a seated position, with your eyes closed or your gaze lowered. The reading I brought tonight is called School Prayer by Diane Ackerman. In the name of the daybreak and the eyelids of morning, and the wayfaring moon and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple. I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell, on earth, my home, and in the mansions of the stars. The light in me honors and is thankful for the light in all of you. Thank you so much for joining this practice tonight, and may your yoga follow you all the night.